we implemented Plandek alongside implementing some of our agentic engineering tools, sort of almost at the same time. And then we used Plandek to take retrospective data, so we had a clear baseline for the previous 3 months, understood that and started to measure it against that. So really we brought Plandek in, I think, April 2025. So we ignored the acceleration we'd see at the end of 2024 and created a new baseline at April 2025. And that's the number that all of our metrics have been predicated on.
And I know that you guys are very passionate about the theory of constraints, systems theory.
Yeah.
So systematically identifying, triaging and removing constraints.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your approach to that and perhaps how Plandek has helped in that regard.
Absolutely. So when we first came up with that approach, we called it a constraint clearance score. So at what point we could kind of, I guess, accelerate the use of tools. And Plandek built that into their software, which really helped us rather than us trying to continue to hand crank it ourselves. So that was great. But what we saw was that we'd accelerate and then we'd kind of plateau. And we'd plateau for a number of different reasons, but quite often it was down to an agentic constraint. So we focused on removing the high value constraints, removed one of them, and then we'd see the uptick again.
So big themes will be around productivity. What should I measure? What does good look like? How do I measure it?
Yeah.
So I assume Plandek is, or developer productivity insight in essence,
yeah,
is an important theme going forward in the next 12 months.
Very much so. And also quality. Making sure that we demonstrate and show that quality, because what we don't want to do is by using this type of tool and introduce more bugs, a lot in terms of ratio anyway. So delivering a lot more features, and if the bug count almost stays consistent, that's okay. But if we start to reduce the bug count, make sure that our software by design is maybe more secure because we don't have any kind of humans maybe missing something or something like that. That's really important to us as well.
So who sort of in the organisation gets the most value out of it, do you think?
We've got an agile coaching team.
Yeah.
So those guys are continually looking at improvement, so understanding the metrics, what that then means in terms of bottlenecks, gaps, so that they really get a huge amount of value. They're then going in, coaching the teams and continually improving the teams. The engineering managers consistently looking at things, making sure that our things like PR throughput, the things that we measure from an agentic perspective aren't moving the wrong way. Those guys as well. And then from a product perspective, they're kind of checking quality, making sure they can understand where hotspots are in terms of bugs. I like going in it just for interest, and there's tons of metrics in there that are cool.
Good. We offer a change partner view of the world, so it's not just the technology, but if you get Plandek, you get us, and you get the frameworks we provide and the domain expertise we can bring. Has that been helpful?
Definitely. I mean, we have the quarterly business review, and the guys come and kind of give us insight as to where we are versus the wider clients, and that's always really interesting. And we can also see, they also demonstrate sort of where we are this quarter versus last quarter, so we can see clearly where we are in terms of improvement. I find it really, really helpful. Like I say, being able to get a sight of that and compare us to our peers and other folks that have got similar capability is always really interesting.
So do you think, would one word of advice be, if you at an earlier stage to you in terms of transitioning to the agentic world, you need a developer productivity insight tool to start understanding what the baseline is, what good looks like, what sort of metrics you should be thinking about before you embark on the journey. Is
absolutely.
that fair?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. We do quite a lot of acquisitions, and the first thing that we've started to do is to get their data into Plandek before we even bring them on a wider agentic journey. You can't show that you're improving if you don't know what you're improving. Up until we bought Plandek, we were hand cranking them using spreadsheets, and it was timely. The agile coaches were collecting those metrics, and then they weren't coaching the team, so it's making a huge difference for us.
We talked about what the kind of key success factors are in this transition to AI-augmented engineering, and it's thinking a little bit about where Plandek helps in those key success factors. The
key for the transition, I think, is having a go and then seeing what comes out in terms of metrics when you've had a go. So sometimes you'll see that productivity might drop off, and then you kind of look at has it really dropped off, and look at the why, and then kind of understand whether it levels itself out and accelerates the following period.
So in order to do that measurement, you need a tool like Plandek?
Yeah, yes you do.